Hello my beautiful gamers, Lady Pelvic here, about to talk your ear off about Tales of Zestiria, which came out for PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4 last year, October. I know I do this every time I make a Tales of video, but just to give you a little history, my first Tales of game was Tales of Grace's F for PlayStation 3, then it went to Tales of Zestiria, then I think either Abyss or Symphonia, then Symphonia Dawn of a New World, then Tales of Hearts R, Tales of Zestiria 2, I don't know, I'm kind of losing the order here, but finally, Tales of Zestiria. Alright, so Tales of Zestiria, I gotta be honest, it did not meet my expectations. Not a bad game, but it missed the mark for me. Sorry to say that this game didn't really make any sort of impression on me. In fact, it's probably one of my least favorite Tales of games. This game is still better than Tales of Symphonia Dawn of a New World. That's not saying much, but it's still better. Anyways, let's take a look at Tales of Zestiria. Like all of Tales of games, life is great, as Soray, a young adventurous boy, explores the ruins with his best friend, who's a seraph, Mikleo. Seraphs are holy beings who humans pray to, and in return, they bless the land. The duo runs into monsters called Hellions, which are creatures that are corrupted by malevolence. Malevolence is birthed from negative emotions and consumes those with too much, turning them into Hellions. Unfortunately, these guys are unbeatable without the shepherd's power of purification, so you're kinda going through these ruins hoping for the best while finding some sweet artifacts. That is until you stumble upon Alicia, a human lady who you will help bring back to your seemingly empty hometown of Elysia, where seraphim, which can't be seen by humans, live. After a night's rest, Alicia pieces out, but when word gets out of a Hellion being in Elysia, Soray and Mikleo go off to search for Alicia to ensure her safety. Sure enough, while searching for the troublesome girl, Soray meets up with Seraph Lila and begins his journey as the Shepherd. A Shepherd is essentially a spiritual warrior whose duty is to purify malevolence and quell the Lord of Calamity, who is said to usher in the Age of Chaos. And in the process of ending malevolence, you find yourself smack dab in the middle of a war between two neighboring countries, Highland and Roland. Now this is a typical JRPG setup. Dude gets special powers, save the world, bada bing bada boom. It's honestly a straightforward vanilla story. Like, it kills me to tell you, but sure, there's some plot twist, but if you're a Tales of veteran, honestly, you can call them as you see them. Anyone, and I mean anyone who's familiar with JRPGs could have written this, but I wasn't really impressed with the story. Easily forgettable story coupled with dismissive characters. The characters of the Tales of series are really good at having a cast of overused, stereotypical, yet lovable characters. But even still, these characters didn't make much of an impression on me. Normally what Tales of characters are like is you have your typical anime archetype characters. You have Dezel, the mysterious, shut up and stay out of my way guy. Soray, who wants to do the right thing and help everybody guy.
I can't just abandon someone in need. That's all.
Edna, the stoic and snarky blunt gal.
I'm Soray. We need you to lend us your power.
We were hoping you could make the foundation for a bridge, so it can be repaired.
No.
Rose, the optimist with the dark secret chick.
All right, damn it! I'll prove to you I can do this! Soray, Mikleo,
and a few more. Between this cast and the cast of Tales of Hearts R, they're honestly my least favorite. If I had to choose one character to be my favorite, it'd be Edna, because it's just all shade with her, no sugarcoating.
The fact that you met Soray opened new possibilities for you, didn't it?
Yes, my fated meeting. Too bad my destiny was a shepherd, not a pair of hot twins.
Are you dumb?
Even the character dialogue at times can be dull as a dishwasher. You may get the occasional chuckle, but I didn't particularly find it laugh out loud funny. Overall, the best thing about this cast of characters is the hout yaoi being generated because of Soray and his best friend Mikleo's married couple-like bickering. So gay. So hot.
I'm just really happy you came with me. Really happy you came with me.
Really happy you came with me. Really happy you came with me.
Just to touch up on this, apparently there was a lot of disappointment with the Alicia character because she was heavily advertised and it turned out she wasn't the main female at all. Like, at all. In fact, you barely have her in your party. Instead, Rose was. But to be honest, I didn't like Alicia anyways. Too goody-goody for me. Although Rose wasn't much better in terms of personality. Okay, the gameplay was like 80-20 for me. 80% okay and 20% ugh. Let's start with the battle system. Tales of is generally praised for its unique and well thought out real-time battle system. And this game is no different. This game does an excellent job giving the other player a plethora of strategies to approach the enemy, such as exploiting enemy elemental weaknesses, and different types of moves that you're able to perform that work in a rock-paper-scissor-like fashion. Martial arts, which cancel out Sephiric arts, and hidden arts combat martial arts and also slow down Sephiric arts. Sephiric arts that are used against an opponent who's currently casting their Sephiric art will quicken their casting, and vice versa. And every move you perform lowers your action gauge. And when your gauge runs out, you can no longer perform any moves until you give it time to replenish. The lower your gauge is, the slower it takes to replenish. This is great because it prevents the player from button mashing.
You can't just swing your sword around and win.
What about swinging an umbrella around?
And if you're familiar with Tales of, you'd know that every Tales of game adds some new element to the battlefield. In this case, armatization, or fusing with the elemental seraphs. This aspect of the battle is phenomenal. When fusing with a seraph, your stats combine, you can use new and powerful arts, and the arts that are exclusive to your fusion are significantly stronger. Also, while armatized, if your HP goes to 0, the human will be knocked out, but the seraph will still be alive with 1 HP, meaning you could still fuse. Although you'll only have 1 hit points, it does save on precious revival items. And fusing and defusing were incredibly fluid, unlike the camera work. Especially if you find yourself in an indoor area fighting, you will suffer from rinky-dink camera work, which could end up costing you the battle. My biggest frustration, mechanically speaking, with this game is the equipment system. To be honest, to this day, I still don't fully understand it. Or maybe I do, but I never bothered to expand on it. From what I gather, the items with the same name often hold different stats. You want to use the grid by having 2 different symbols side by side, across, or in other specific positions in order to unlock a new ability, stat, or what have you. In other words, you may have to give up 15 defense points, but you'll gain a new art. Or you could fuse 2 of the same type of item to change what stats it has. But the new stats you get are completely random, and I don't got time to deal with that. You guys already know, I don't do this grinding, randomized bullcrap. All in all, I didn't give 2 shits about the grid. I took the item for what it was, for better or for worse, and I was all attack, baby. Exploration. Tales of has always had prismatic, various, wide worlds to explore, and were lightly seasoned with chest, herbs, Norman, and other special monsters. With all the open space that was available, I felt it could have been better utilized. The game had a few passive side quests, like finding Norman, which were little guys who blessed an item that had room for an additional stat, or replacing a random one. Or collecting all the Lord of the Lands, which were seraphs who offer their blessing to a certain area of the map. When you fight monsters on their blessed land, you acquire points that later can be used to enact blessings in that region. Example being chests will replenish, or fast travel will be cheaper. Speaking of fast travel, as you get deeper into the game, the option to fast travel is often disabled, which is super annoying. We established in a previous video, I don't like walking, and the characters already walk pretty damn slow in Tales of Zestiria. You have to backtrack across a huge landmass only for a few words of flavorless dialogue, only to go back where you originally were.
What? We were just...
Yeah.
Indoor locations such as temples and ruins were linear and uninteresting. I often was bouncing back and forth between rooms and frequently getting lost. And again, the camera angles, no good. Graphics I'm going to lightly touch up on, as I think I mentioned a lot mixed in with the gameplay. Again, beautiful, grand fantasy type layout, forests, deserts, mountain lands, all beautiful. Empty, but beautiful. The monsters? It does the same thing that any other JRPG does. It reuses the monster template, but with a different color skin. Also, noticeable frame rate issues from distant monsters. Nothing major that botched the game, it was just extremely noticeable. Once you engaged the monster, it was fine, it's just, I didn't understand why that would be a problem. The towns were thought out and well constructed with the idea of what the town is going through. Even after expelling the malevolence in certain towns, you notice certain things change. The character design. Again, oddly enough, this is a miss for me. I think I was kind of confused with this game's fashion sense. None of the characters look bad, but I think I would have enjoyed a distinction through fashion between Seraphim and humans. For example, Lila and Mikleo look like superior beings, whereas Edna and Dezel looked more humanish, like Rose. Or maybe I would have preferred their clothes to match their designated element. When I think Earth, I don't think cute dress with an umbrella, but maybe that was their point, to have a cute young lady represent strong Earth. Or Dezel, a wind elemental with a modern Western look. His look matched his personality, but not his element. So yeah, I guess I would have preferred their look to match their element. Because with enough creativity, you could have still given Dezel a badass Western look, while still keeping in mind his elemental component. But I'm just being nitpicky. I can't think of any game where their fashion sense actually turned me away. Finally, the music. Just like the characters, the story, and the music is all forgettable, with the exception of the 4 elemental temples. Even the opening theme didn't fit this game very well. Went some like rock and roll route. I mean, I like rock and roll, but like it was so left field. It's probably my least favorite Tales of theme thus far. Now, every elemental temple music was fire. Well, the fire temple's music was lit, and the wind temple's music was lit also, but like not lit because it's not fire. Okay, check it. Okay, I got this. Ready? The Fire Temple's music was lit. The Wind Temple's music was fly. And the Earth Temple's music was rock solid. And the Water Temple's music was cool. Because water can be cold, is normally cold. Unless you boil it. It was a stretch, but it works. Every temple's music was incredible. It's one of the first things you notice. I think for me though, I actually like the Water Temple the best. It's so beautiful with the piano work, so elegant. I find it so soothing and enriched with danger. Even though I'm feeling the Water Temple music, I highly suggest you listen to the other temples' music. I'll link them in the description below. Enjoy Tales of Zestiria's Water Temple. And that's a wrap. Now, I gotta be honest and harsh, this game gets a 6.5 out of 10. It's not a shit game, but I had such expectations for an intricate story and at the very least, memorable characters. Like, that's what Tales is like known for. That's like one of the things. It's just their cast of like archetype characters, and just disappointing. It was your run-of-the-mill story of like hero saves the world, and sure, you could say, oh, maybe it's not the destination but about the journey, but even like the middle bits aren't worthy of being cherished. Like, I can count probably like on one hand how many moments in this game that were kind of like maybe tugged on the heartstrings, or were like, oh no, or whoa. It felt really flat. While there were emotional moments, I wasn't connected to any of the characters to really give a damn. Like, sure, some of them were like surprising, but I wasn't like, my heart. Overall, this game just left me feeling indifferent. Real talk, I wouldn't recommend this game, especially if you're trying to get into the Tales of series. Start with Tales of the Abyss or Tales of Grace's F. Some would say Tales of Symphonia. The game was good, but it wasn't like mind-blowing. The question for you is there ever been a game that made you feel indifferent, that just didn't satisfy you, like it was missing something, it should have had more of something? You know, it wasn't a bad game per se, but it just wasn't a great game. Like, there was just so many holes that could have been filled with much more content. Also, if you have played Tales of Zestiria, let me know, because I'm actually really curious what other people think of it. And if you have played the Tales of series, let me know in the comments below what you thought of it. Did you find it satisfying, or were you like me, just kind of left wanting more? It wasn't good enough. And let me know what you thought about the cast of characters. A lot of people like them for some reason, which is weird to me. I'm just like, why? Any of the comment section is yours. Thank you all so much for watching. The top box is more of my reviews like this one. The bottom box this time will lead you to my friend, Gamer with Gains, video, which he features me. There's a series on his channel called Definitive Discussion, where he invites YouTubers to talk about certain gaming topics, and this topic was Bayonetta 1 and 2. So if you're interested in podcast, Bayonetta, and me, check it out by clicking the bottom box. As always, I appreciate your love and support. Until next time. My puns were awesome.